The story of the 1994 to 95 Premier League season. The campaign began with a major restructuring that would change the top of English football for years to come. The Premier League's first two seasons were contested by 22 teams. However, league officials wanted to alter the competition by reducing the number of clubs to 20. As a result, 4 teams were relegated from the Premier League in the 1994 to 95 season instead of the usual 3, while only 2 promotion spots were available for the clubs in Division 1. Determined to close the gap on Manchester United, Blackburn Rovers broke the English transfer record by signing striker Chris Sutton from Norwich City for £5 million. Tottenham Hotspur also made a high-profile purchase, bringing in German World Cup winner Jurgen Klinsmann from Monaco for £2 million. "Jurgen is a big signing," said Tottenham manager Ozzy Ardiles. "He is one of the best players in the world." Klinsmann quickly proved his worth, scoring 5 goals in his first 4 league games to earn the August Player of the Month award. The new signing, branded a cheat by some sections of the media due to his reputation for diving, made light of the scrutiny by throwing himself to the ground after scoring his first Tottenham goal. Like Klinsmann, Liverpool youngster Robbie Fowler had no problem finding the target. He scored 5 goals in the first month of the season, including a remarkable 4-minute hat-trick in a 3-0 win over Arsenal. Eric Cantona and Paul Ince scored as Manchester United beat Blackburn in the Charity Shield, but Alex Ferguson's side initially struggled to get going in the league. While title rivals Blackburn and Newcastle enjoyed unbeaten starts, Manchester United surprisingly lost at Leeds United and Ipswich Town in September. Newcastle's form was particularly impressive, with Kevin Keegan's men winning 6 matches in a row, despite key player Peter Beardsley missing 4 of those games through injury. 2 months into the campaign, Newcastle and Blackburn looked like genuine title contenders, while Frank Clark's newly promoted Nottingham Forest were the early season surprise package thanks to the goals of Brian Roy and Stan Collymore. The other promoted sides, Leicester City and Crystal Palace, struggled at the bottom. Pressure was also mounting on Everton manager Mike Walker. A beloved figure at previous club Norwich, his decision to leave Carrow Road for Goodison Park was looking worse by the game. In a month of title race tussles, October saw Newcastle and Blackburn draw 1-1 after a late Tim Flower's own goal. On the same weekend, Manchester United fell to a 1-0 defeat at Hillsborough after former Red Devils transfer target David Hirst netted for Sheffield Wednesday. Alex Ferguson's men briefly dropped to 5th place and looked a shadow of the team that won back-to-back titles. However, their fortunes soon changed thanks to 8 wins from 9 games, including a crucial 4-2 victory against Blackburn and a 5-0 derby triumph over Manchester City. In the relegation battle, Mike Walker's Everton finally picked up their first win thanks to a Gary Ablett goal against West Ham. The victory was not enough to satisfy the Everton board, though, and Walker found himself out of a job following a goalless draw at former club Norwich. "It would be irresponsible for the current situation to continue," said Everton chairman Peter Johnson. "It is imperative that Everton retains its position in the top flight." As Joe Royle replaced Mike Walker, 5 other managerial changes occurred in the build-up to Christmas. The biggest dismissal came at Aston Villa, where Ron Atkinson was sacked after Villa fell from title challengers to relegation candidates in the space of 18 months. Leicester's Brian Little replaced Atkinson, while Ipswich's John Lyall, QPR's Jerry Francis and Tottenham's Ozzy Ardiles also left their clubs. In December, one of the standout results saw Nottingham Forest end Manchester United's 9-game unbeaten run with a 2-1 win at Old Trafford. Newcastle, meanwhile, endured a difficult run between November and January. Kevin Keegan's side produced entertaining football, but a 3-1 win over Leicester proved to be their only victory in 11 games. While Newcastle's form dipped, Blackburn could not stop scoring thanks to main man Alan Shearer and the additional firepower of summer signing Chris Sutton. The goal-scoring duo, dubbed the SAS, helped Rovers pick up 11 wins from 12 games between October and January. On Christmas Day, Kenny Dalglish's Blackburn topped the table with a 2-point lead over Manchester United. Jimmy Deehan's Norwich were flying high in 7th place almost a year on from Mike Walker's departure, while Arsenal's days as title contenders under George Graham seemed to be over. In the relegation battle, Ipswich were already 9 points from safety after winning just 3 of their 19 games. Everton, Aston Villa and Leicester occupied the other relegation places. In January, Newcastle fans were dealt a major blow when star striker Andy Cole joined title rivals Manchester United for £7 million after a fallout with manager Kevin Keegan. "If it doesn't work, I know what the implications are," Keegan told a group of perplexed supporters outside St James Park. Newcastle chairman Sir John Hall also offered words of reassurance to the Toon Army faithful. "We will reinvest in the squad," he told the BBC. "That's what we're going to do." Newcastle signed promising midfielder Keith Gillespie for £1 million as part of the deal. With Andy Cole on board and emerging talent Paul Scholes breaking through, things were looking up for Manchester United. Alex Ferguson's men were hot on Blackburn's heels at the top after Eric Cantona scored the only goal in a 1-0 win over Rovers at Old Trafford. In the next match, however, an astonishing moment of madness spectacularly derailed Manchester United's title chances. On January 25th, Eric Cantona received a red card after kicking Crystal Palace defender Richard Shaw. As he exited the pitch, Cantona launched himself over an advertising board before kung fu kicking and punching a fan in the crowd. Manchester United kitman Norman Davis and goalkeeper Peter Schmeichel quickly raced over to usher Cantona down the tunnel. David May put Manchester United ahead 10 minutes after the incident before Gareth Southgate scored to earn Palace a point. The kung fu kick initially landed Cantona with a 2-week prison sentence before the punishment was changed to a 120-hour community service order. He also received an 8-month ban from football and a £30,000 fine. When reporters gathered to hear Cantona explain his actions, Manchester United's number 7 responded in a way only he can. "When the Seagulls," Cantona began before taking a sip of water, "follow the trawler, it's because they think sardines will be thrown into the sea. Thank you very much." The controversies didn't end there. The Premier League found George Graham guilty of accepting an illegal payment from an agent over transfer dealings. The Scot was given a 1-year ban from football and left his job as Arsenal manager. On the pitch, the Gunners lost 4 games in a row under caretaker boss Stuart Houston and became stuck in mid-table mediocrity. Manchester United, without Eric Cantona for 8 months, suffered a shock 1-0 loss at Everton, but it did not take long for Alex Ferguson's side to bounce back. A week later, the Red Devils set a new Premier League record by beating lowly Ipswich 9-0 at Old Trafford. Andy Cole scored 5 of the 9 goals to instantly cement his status as a United fan favourite. As April approached, Blackburn held an impressive but not uncatchable lead of 6 points over Manchester United at the top. Further down the table, Nottingham Forest's fantastic season continued, while Arsenal were just 6 points above the relegation zone after a disastrous run. In the bottom half, Aston Villa and Everton were creeping up the table, Norwich suddenly found themselves battling against the drop, and Ipswich and Leicester looked certain to go down. The biggest away win of the season came at Hillsborough, where Brian Roy and Stan Collymore were at the double as Nottingham Forest thrashed Sheffield Wednesday 7-1. Elsewhere in April, Leicester's one-season stay in the top flight ended after West Ham's 3-0 win against Wimbledon. Ipswich's Premier League journey was also over after Everton's 2-0 victory over Newcastle consigned George Burley's men to relegation. Aston Villa's struggles continued as they failed to score for 8 consecutive games, while Gary Megson replaced John Deehan as manager of plummeting Norwich with just 5 matches remaining. As the entire bottom half fought against relegation, only Blackburn and Manchester United could realistically win the league. Rovers went 8 points clear with a 1-0 win at QPR, prompting Alex Ferguson to all but rule his side out of the title race. "You just have to hope there is a miracle," the United manager said. A miracle looked on the cards when Blackburn fell to a shock 3-2 home defeat against Manchester City, followed by a 2-0 loss at West Ham 2 weeks later. Suddenly, after a run of 7 points from 5 games, Blackburn's lead over rejuvenated Manchester United had been cut to just 2 points heading into the final day. And so, the stage was set. With 41 games played, Blackburn travelled to Liverpool on 89 points, while Manchester United visited West Ham on 87 points. If Manchester United won their game, they would need Liverpool to win or draw against Blackburn to capture the title. If Manchester United failed to win, the Premier League trophy would be heading to Ewood Park. The afternoon got off to the perfect start for Blackburn, with Alan Shearer scoring against Liverpool in the 20th minute. 11 minutes later, Michael Hughes netted for West Ham against Manchester United, making Rovers heavy favourites to claim top spot. After the half-time break, a twist in the tale saw Brian McClare equalise for Manchester United at West Ham. John Barnes then scored for Liverpool against Blackburn, meaning one goal in the final 26 minutes could decide the title. Manchester United peppered the West Ham target with shot after shot, knowing one goal would move them above Blackburn into first place. But Hammer's goalkeeper Ludek Miklosko repeatedly kept the Red Devils out. Back at Anfield, Jamie Redknapp put Liverpool 2-1 ahead against Blackburn in the final minute. United, meanwhile, could not find a way past the inspirational Miklosko, and after a long, hard season, the title race was over. Blackburn finished on 89 points, 1 point ahead of Manchester United, and Kenny Dalglish's side won the Premier League for the first time. In the bottom half of the table, Norwich joined Leicester and Ipswich in going down, after losing 2-1 at Leeds. The fourth and final relegation spot was occupied by Crystal Palace, who lost 3-2 on the final day at Newcastle. Coventry, managed by Ron Atkinson for the last 3 months of the campaign, climbed away from danger alongside Atkinson's former club Aston Villa, while Arsenal's dismal year ended in a bottom-half finish. The top half saw surprise package Nottingham Forest finish third. Jurgen Klinsmann's goals helped Tottenham finish 7th, while Liverpool and Leeds qualified for the UEFA Cup after Newcastle struggled without Andy Cole. In the end, the financial backing of millionaire Jack Walker and the expert guidance of manager Kenny Dalglish proved to be a winning formula. Blackburn Rovers claimed the coveted Premier League crown following a thrilling final day, with Chris Sutton and Player of the Season Alan Shearer playing key roles in the historic triumph. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe for more classic football stories. You can also visit deefaxfootball.com for a range of retro gifts, including a 500-question Premier League quiz book and more than 60 nostalgic football canvases. Alternatively, click the link on screen to take another trip down football memory lane.